Hello, this is Mark Dempsey with the National Convergence Technology Center at Collin College in North Texas. The topic for today's webinar is using Google tools to conduct your KSA vote. Joining me will be Christina Titus, our in-house guru on this topic. The goal here is to make sure you know how to streamline your KSA vote using an automated online process. No more tedious hand counting. So today we'll give you a quick introduction overview of the built model in the KSA process. Then Christina will explain in step-by-step detail how to create the KSA survey and the spreadsheet. And she'll also go over a few additional Google settings you may want to use. But first, just to provide some context, let's talk briefly about the built model. The built is a cornerstone for everything we do here at the National CTC. A successful built, which stands for Business and Industry Leadership Team, puts business in a co-leadership role for technical programs. The primary way a built does this is through an annual ranked voting and discussion of entry-level KSAs, knowledge, skills, and abilities. This process always looks ahead, which means the built is asked to identify entry-level skills 12 to 36 months into the future. The end result is curriculum is aligned with workforce needs and graduates are workforce ready. Now, in the old days, the built would vote on KSAs with raised hands or with voice votes. You can see here Ann and Christina are both counting raised hands in the room. This sort of manual hand count can take a very long time. It's just not efficient. But with online Google tools, voting runs much faster and much smoother. Each KSA is voted on using the rank system shown here. A 1 means the item can be left out of the curriculum entirely, while a 4 means that item is essential and must be included. For each KSA, the collected votes are averaged on a spreadsheet, and it's that final spreadsheet that faculty uses to make sure what the built requests is what the program is actually teaching. So now that you have an overview, we'll let Christina take over and walk us through the process of creating both the Google form, which will be the survey instrument your built will use to vote, and also the Google sheet, which is what will collect, tally, and average the built votes.
All right, thank you, Mark. So we're going to start this. We're going to get down into the nitty-gritty of this, and this is our how-to directions, and we're going to use a little bit of this today in our setup. First, we want to open a brand new Google tab. This is key as you're going to have multiple tabs pop up in the process that we're going to be doing. So you want to have a clean one so it doesn't get too chaotic and too confusing and you know which tab you need to click on. You want to go to Google Drive. And I'm already in here, signed in, logged in. You'll need a Google account. Here's the key. So now we want to start with this new button and we want to go to Google Forms. We're going to start building the form first in this process. We're going to title this Test KSA Build. There's 3 important factors that you need in this new build. You need to go to the settings button here. And I want to always collect email and response receipts from my attendees. This is a key important piece, and you'll notice that in our directions because this helps our formula and our spreadsheet work. You need this piece. So once you've clicked these 3, collect emails, response receipts, and always hit save. And you'll notice this new email little piece popped up here, and it is required. They cannot skip it. This also allows you to know who has voted and what they voted at the end. Okay, so the next piece that you need is a name. And it automatically changes your little question type right here to short answer. These are your first key pieces that you need to build right here. You need an email and a name. And then from here, you want a title. And I want to call this task. Okay, you have a description box here to sit here and say, what is a task? Not everybody knows what a task is, and this helps you keep your voters on the same page. We have provided in our how-to a great explanation for what a task is. So you can just copy that in, Control copy. I'm going to go back over here to my Google form. I'm just going to paste that right in. And now I have identified the task section. This is going to help break up the survey a little bit. And now I'm ready to build. So I'm going to add a question with this little plus sign. And I'm going to say T1 because you want to always label your items. This helps again with the formulas in the spreadsheet, in the Google Sheet. So T1, T will be task, K is knowledge, S is skills, and A is ability. And if you are going to have them vote on certifications, we recommend use the word cert-1, cert-2. So I'm going to use, for our example, the infrastructure KSAs, and I'm going to copy this first one as my T1. And then your choice, you want to select a linear scale. Always 1 through 4. Mark shared our ranking. So 1 is least important. 2 or 4 is most important. And you're ready to add the next question. Okay, so that will be T2. Come back to your KSA document that you have created your pro forma list that you're going to use for voting. And you just copy right back in. Again, I need a linear scale, 1 to 4, least important, most important. And you would continue to build your T's the same way. And when you were done with your T's, you'd add another title, which is this T, the 2 T's. And I would say knowledge. Come back to the PDF. Okay, look, here's a great definition for knowledge. Let's just copy this over, go to the description, paste it in. And then, okay, so we need a K1 because your numbers start over when you hit a new area. So K1, all right, got a K knowledge right here. I'm going to control copy that, go back to my form and paste that in. And you would continue this process all the way through building abilities. Okay, so we're done building our forms. So how do we get those averages? How do we get that spreadsheet? Well, that's a great question. You click on responses. There's 3 little dots right here, and I want you to click on those. And I want you to click on select response destination. And now I want you to click create a new spreadsheet. And you notice it's already named to match the name of our Google form. So you're going to click create. And you'll notice down here it says spreadsheet linked, and it gave you a status of what it was doing. All right, so how do I find that? It created it, nothing popped up. How do I get there? I want you to click back to this first tab, the My Drive tab, and you scroll down and it's right here. So I'm going to click on that, and there is your form response tab. It has a timestamp, your email address, your name, your T1, T2, and your K1, everything we just built. And when you've built your full thing, and say you have 193 items on your pro forma list that you're going to build out, that could take you roughly about an hour and 15 minutes to complete this entire process. So the less items you have for voting, the shorter amount of time it will take you to build your entire setup. All right, you're probably thinking, this is great, but this doesn't give me what I need. Well, you're right. What we're providing you now is, if you go back to our how-to and you get down here to section 3, you're going to find this link. When you click on this link, you're now opening a template. This template is going to do all the tabulations for you. This is going to make this super fast. So you're going to go to this KSA tab and you're going to right click and you're going to say copy to existing spreadsheet. And it opens up this little window. And if you scroll down, your spreadsheet you just built is right here. You're going to hit select and you're going to say, okay. Okay, so here's where the tabs kind of get a little crazy. You've got multiple tabs here at the top, but you're going to go back to your built Google Sheet attached to your Google form. So this is mine right here. And I'm going to notice there's a new tab down here, copy of KSA. You could click on it and you're going to see it's exactly what we just saw. All right, so from here, I want to go back to form responses 1. I'm going to click on this 1 until it highlights the entire row. And then I'm going to control copy. And then I want to go back to this copy of KSA tab. And I want to click right here in A1. I'm going to right click, paste special, go to the very bottom to paste transpose and click on that. And this is what you're going to see. And it would be a lot longer if you built a whole KSA build out. So the row you want to focus on is row 4. So then you want to take B4 and go over to C4, D4, E4, all the way to I4. And you can let go of your click. And you see this little blue box right here. You're going to double click. And you notice it built out all the way down. I didn't have to drag. I didn't have to do anything. I just double clicked and it builds it out, which is a much simpler way to do this. So, but you still have this random A column. It looks a little weird. So we want to highlight B and C. We're going to control C, and then we're going to right click and we're going to paste special, and we're going to paste values only. So now what that just did is now that allows us to come over here to A, highlight the entire column, right click, and delete the column. And now you have your KSA voting spreadsheet. It's ready to go. You will notice that the average column does not have anything in it. It is now blank, but it is ready to go. It should be blank on your screen as well. All right, so you're almost done. You're super close. So now you want to go back over here to your Google form, and you're ready to test this. You always want to test to ensure that everything is working properly. And if it's not, then that's where you can troubleshoot, and I'll help you with that. So you hit send, you hit the little chain link right here, click on shorten URL, and then control copy. And you can do two things with this. You can copy it and paste it into a new tab. And I highly recommend you have other people in your office vote as well. But right now, we're just going to go ahead and vote ourselves. So I'm going to open a new tab. I'm going to control paste, and I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to enter my email, my name, and then I'm going to vote. And then it tells me that I've submitted. Okay, so then if I go back out here to my test KSA build, you'll notice there are my votes. So now if you have proper voting and it shows up properly, then you are done. And the quickest way to clear out those votes is just to highlight row 2 and just hit delete, and you're ready to go for your meeting. There are some other important things that we should show you here. If you decide that your meeting, you want your attendees to be able to vote again on this, maybe you think they're going to change a lot of things, and you want them to be able to revote. In the same settings where we set the collect emails, if you go to the bottom, there's respondents can, and then you can click edit after submit. And then if you save that, then they're now able to edit their responses after they've submitted. That is a little easier if you plan on letting them revote. Most of the time, we do not allow that. All right, some of the other little tricks that we have, you'll notice in Google Forms, you are not able to bold, which some people like to bold to call things out. So what we've done is we have provided a link here. And if I type in task, it bolds here, and I can just control copy, go back to my Google Sheet, and now it's bold. If you go to the little eye, it previews, and you can now see it's bold, and it does stay bold. That might help you kind of call out the different sections. It helps break it up. All right, so if you need to do changes with this new process, the quickest way to do a change is to go to your Google Drive. This is the Google form we just built, and I need to make changes to it. So I'm going to click on it one time, right click, and I'm going to make a copy of just the Google form. And then I can double click on that. I'm going to test KSA build part 2. You're gonna have to change the name here. And then I can go in here and I can say, all right, let's see, we need a 1 through 4 here. I need to add, we need another T here. So let's see, we need a T3, right? We need a linear scale. And then you would just follow the same steps from before to do the response destination and set up the voting screen. All right, Mark, I think that covers all of the new things that we are able to do with Google Sheets and Google Forms for KSA voting.
All right, thanks, Christina, for that. That was great. Before we close, we want to share these built resources with you, both videos and documents. And the sheet that Christina was using is right here. That's what this document is right here, a very detailed instruction sheet to take you through a whole process step by step, including the little shortcuts at the end she talked about. You may find these helpful. Any questions about the built model, the KSA voting process, or how to use Google tools, please let us know. There's our email addresses right there. We'd love to hear from you, and thank you for your time today.